My brother lied about us having a sister who died, and I still can't believe the reason why. My brother Connor invited his girlfriend to our mom's birthday dinner. Our mom was over the moon because she had been asking for months to be able to meet her, and so she was asking her question after question. Mom asked Connor's girlfriend if she had siblings, and she answered that she had a brother. Mom smiled. Oh, I bet your mom loved that, having one of each. I love both of my boys, but I did always want a girl. Connor's girlfriend's face twisted as if she just watched someone kick a puppy. Mom asked what was wrong, but Connor answered for her. Mom, that's kind of a messed up thing to say. Mom looked at me for an explanation, but I shrugged. Connor then turned to me. Wait, do you not know about Alice? Who? Connor turned back to our mom, slamming his fist on the table. You know what? I see what's happening. You're trying to erase her existence, but I'm not going to forget about her. Connor stood up from the table, grabbed his girlfriend's hand, and marched both of them out of the house. Mom and I sat at the table with our jaws hanging open. She then asked me, who on earth is Alice? I held up my hands in defense. I'm as confused as you. Mom then bit her thumbnail in worry. You don't think this has anything to do with his accident, do you? About 6 months ago, Connor's car was hit from behind, causing him to drive down into a ditch. He suffered a bad concussion and whiplash, among other things. I shook my head. I don't think hallucinating people is a symptom of a concussion. I might know where he's going, though. I stood up to leave, and I glanced over to the kitchen where Mom's birthday cake sat waiting. I awkwardly start to apologize, but Mom quickly waves it off. No, a birthday for me is an excuse to see my boys and have a nice dinner. Go after your brother and figure out what's going on. Thankfully, my hunch was right, and I found my brother's car outside his favorite coffee shop. He and his girlfriend were sitting in a booth near the back, and the second he looked up and saw me, Connor smiled and waved me over. Something didn't feel right with how calm he was acting after his outburst, but I sat down across from them anyway. After asking if they were okay, I cut to the chase. Connor, who's Alice? Connor's eyes get serious again as he leans toward me. Alice was my twin sister. She died, and Mom wants to cover it up. 100 questions were swirling in my head, but I did my best not to freak out. I asked him, do you mean like in the womb? Connor shook his head. No, Alice was about 5 or 6 when she passed. I was stunned and didn't know what to say. The main problem with what my brother was saying was that I was the older sibling. I was 4 when Connor was born, and I can still remember seeing him in the hospital when he was born. Maybe our mom would be able to hide a baby sister who didn't make it from me. But how could she have kept a little sister secret for years? I slowly nodded, then asked carefully, where was our sister before she died? We grew up in a small house, so shouldn't I have noticed her? She lived at Aunt Gail's house. That's why Mom would go there so often. Sure, it certainly wasn't because our aunt had mobility issues, and our mom would clean for her every once in a while. I glanced over at his girlfriend, who looked pale. I couldn't tell if she believed him or not. I then asked Connor, if Mom kept everything hidden so well, how did you find out? Because I was sick, and I went with Mom one time she went to visit Alice. Mom was distracted talking with Aunt Gail, and I met Alice outside. All at once, the pieces clicked in my head. Oh, you mean that girl who lived next to Aunt Gail? You two ended up in the same kindergarten class, right? Connor looked at me like I had 3 heads. I don't know who you're talking about. And Mom never let Alice go to school. I take a deep breath and rub the back of my head. Right, look, it's Mom's birthday. Could we set whatever's happening on the back burner and go back to her place? I would, but I'm not driving all the way to Kentucky. And with that, his girlfriend and I locked eyes. The poor woman was shaking when she put a hand on Connor's shoulder. Sweetie, your mom's not in Kentucky. We were just at her house. Connor studies her face for a minute, but shakes his head. No, she moved there about a year ago. I clear my throat. Aunt Gail moved there a year ago. My brother argued, but I turned to his girlfriend. Could I ask you to take his car back to his place and then Uber home? I'll Venmo you the cost. She quickly agreed and gave me her number to keep her updated. She kissed Connor's cheek. I'll see you soon, okay? Where are you going? Nowhere, but I think your brother is going to take you to see a doctor. For the next couple of months, I took my brother from appointment to appointment from multiple doctors. Eventually, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He's been receiving the help he needs and is getting better at discerning real memories from fake ones. However, he still mentions Alice from time to time.